Hello and welcome to the astrology for September video. So I have everything in front of me because there's a lot that's going on this month. This month starts off eclipse season, and so I'm hoping I can get through everything in a succinct, not too long video. So, okay, I do these every month now on YouTube, but I also have a podcast as well, and links to everything, if you don't know me, will be down below. So I'm going to just list out everything that's happening, and then I'll go in more depth with everything. So on September 1st, Uranus goes retrograde in Taurus. It starts its process, and then Pluto retrograde will enter Capricorn. This is like a big thing I'll get into. Then on September 2nd, we have our new moon in Virgo. September 4th, we have Mars entering Cancer. September 9th, Mercury enters Virgo. September 17th, we have our full moon in Pisces, which is an eclipse. September 22nd is Libra season. There's something on my hand. And Venus enters Scorpio. And then September 26th, Mercury enters Libra. So whenever I talk about a transit, in these videos, I kind of go over what it means collectively, like what would be called mundane astrology. But you can always look to see in your chart, like whatever zodiac sign I say, and then whatever planet I say, you'd be like, okay, this planet is going to go through this zodiac sign. Where is that in my chart? And then kind of apply what I'm saying, but to your chart. And I always like to say that because astrology is so personal, especially the way that I teach it with like this self-awareness lens. And so always do that. Always look to see where something is in your chart and how you can apply that to yourself. It's like the best way to learn it, in my opinion. So on September 1st, so Uranus goes retrograde every year. It's the outer planets have these retrogrades that last a really long time. So you can, if you have anything in the late degrees of Taurus, you'll probably be experiencing a lot of changes potentially going on in your life because Uranus, whatever, likes to really shake things up. So collectively though, Uranus and Taurus has done a lot of stuff with housing and homes, food, the economy, money, everything since 2019, and we're at sort of like the tail end of it. So in my opinion, from a perspective of like, let's say financial astrology, there's a weird bubble kind of happening, and I'm not going to predict anything, but it's showing us that something has to change, right? Like something needs to be shaken up, Uranus, within the Taurus things. And so something could happen with the economy. But then personally, if you are a Taurus, like a late degree Taurus, or you have late degree Taurus placements, or Scorpio, Leo, or Aquarius, you're most likely going to be feeling an uncomfortable change coming your way that you most likely don't like, because Taurus is a fixed energy and it likes things to stay the same. Now, I'm very excited to talk about the next thing, the Pluto retrograde that's going into Capricorn. So essentially, Pluto again does a retrograde every year. It's very long, moves really slow. So from September 1st to November 19th, Pluto will be in Capricorn for the very last time of our lifetimes. So Pluto takes forever to go around the sun, over 200 years. And so we don't live that long. So we only will experience Pluto in about 4 or 5 signs in our lifetime, like these big collective shifts. So you can think back to 2008, what was happening in 2008 for you. And then you've been with this for like 15 years, maybe up to 16 now. And something's been happening in an area of your life. So you go to look to the Capricorn house, and there's been transformations and rebirths and deaths and rebirths and all this. So Pluto's going to go back into Capricorn. So it's going to go back into one of your houses for the last time in your lifetime. And so I call this like karmic cleanup. What are some things that you haven't been listening to, or you haven't been doing, that needs to get done? You have a 10-week period to do that. And collectively, we're going to see a lot of people who are in powerful positions grab onto it as tight as they can. And it's not going to work because we're going into Pluto and Aquarius full force for the next like 19 years. So as I'm recording this, Pluto's in Aquarius, and we've had our little dips into it, but it's going to be a lot of like government systems, big systems and corporations that ultimately will fall unless they go with the flow of how Aquarius wants to do things and think people first as opposed to the profit first. Because a lot of people are sick right now from a bunch of different things. I want to say a myriad of things. I don't know where that word's coming from. But it's not just like from being overworked. It's like stuff that's in our food and in our products. And like I can look around and I see like lotion and I like to have like non-toxic products, but I have like body lotion and my supplements and skincare. I'm just looking over there and all these things, but there are products that contain it. It's all for profit. Like, how can I make this cheap? And anyway, everyone's just, I find with this tail end of Pluto and Capricorn, it's just like sick and tired of stuff. That's why I feel like we feel collectively in a sense, but it's very interesting. I am in Canada, but we get to watch always what happens in the US, and we have real shit going on with Canadian politics, but the US election falls in this little bit, which I find is very interesting because the United States as a country had their Pluto return at, I think, 27 degrees Capricorn. And when that happened before, it was when the country started, which was technically like a kind of revolt against something. So that's coming as well, and everything there. But look to see in your chart where Capricorn is and think, what's the last karmic clearing that I have to do, and work with that transformative energy. Like, what's the last thing you have to like maybe let go of or transform to end that cycle, because you're not going to have that energy to work with again for the rest of your life, right? Because we're moving into a new cycle. Okay, now I try not to ramble, and I have the charts up for the moon. Okay, so I have the chart up for the new moon in Virgo. I love Virgo season. I really do. It's my third house. So I've been procrastinating filming this video, and I just start doing it. I'm like 7 minutes in. How am I 7 minutes in? So this new moon in Virgo is at 11 degrees. So you look to see where 11 degrees is in your chart. My moon is in Pisces at 11 degrees. So this new moon is directly opposite my moon. How interesting. I didn't realize that. So you can also look to see, do I have anything 11? Pisces, Gemini, Sagittarius, Virgo. And you might just feel this the most. When there's a lot of mutability in the sky, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there'll be 5 mutable planets in the sky. You might be feeling lots of like tension pulls. This new moon is opposite Saturn, and so you might be feeling like a structure or a resistance or something. Because of the degrees, it doesn't square with Jupiter and Mars in Gemini. Okay, but Mars is squaring Neptune, so there could be like a haze on like which way am I supposed to take action, or like what plan am I supposed to come up with, because Virgo is all about planning and coming up with a plan and having your to-do list. I smile because I love that shit. But when Neptune and Mars are kind of squaring off in mutable signs, you could feel like overwhelmed. Okay, I have way too many things I have to do. I feel extremely overwhelmed. I don't know where to start. Do I really want to do this? So my advice for this new moon is to really tap into mindful activities that kind of ground you. Now, Virgo's an earth sign, so you might think Virgo's really grounded. Virgo is the airiest earth sign there is, because it's ruled by Mercury, so it's like extremely, I find, buzzy mental realm up here, not so much down here. And so the ruler of this new moon is Mercury in Leo, which is still in the shadowy period of the retrograde, which I'll get to talking more in a second. And then Lilith is also conjunct the South Node. That's just like a thing to kind of note here. The energy doesn't look too crazy like when I'm staring at the chart and I look at all the aspects of everything, but the most like tension point is the Mars-Neptune square, which should only last a few days, and then it passes on by. Oh, and I guess Saturn is also squaring Jupiter expansion, Saturn contraction in a sense, so there's that too. I would say it's not even like a full T-square, but I'd say it's a T-square, and I'd say the release point is Sagittarius, because there's nothing in Sag right now. All the mutables with Virgo, Gemini, and Pisces are all kind of like overthinking things this is the energy I describe it as with my hand motion. And so thinking of like, how can I give myself a new perspective? How can I, not necessarily, you don't want to run away from something. That would be very sad. Just, I'm going to pack my bags and I'm going to run away and go somewhere else. But thinking, how can I gain a new perspective, learn something new that can maybe help me with all of this energy over here. Okay. Oh God, there's still so much I gotta get down on this list here. Okay, September 4th, Mars enters Cancer. So if you have any notable Cancer placements, Mars is going to come in. Mars in Cancer is normally a very, like, it's water. It doesn't necessarily want to take that much, I don't want to say that much action. It's going to take it in the very intuitive sense of like, this is my gut feeling, so I'm going to flow this way, but it's not going to like boom head on type thing. So when we have this energy, it's a real invitation for us to trust our intuitions and listen to our bodies, and then look to the area that Cancer is in your chart, and you're going to feel maybe a motivation kind of pull towards that area. But it's important to note this because Mars at the end of the year is going to go retrograde in Leo and in Cancer. So this kind of kickstarts a very reflective period on how you take action in an area of your life. I'm a Cancer rising, so I'm excited for Mars to go into my first house because I find I do lots of like movement and exercise that helps me really connect to my body. The most, I don't do it as much because I can feel really moody, like I'm not in the mood. But when Mars is in Cancer, I love it. I do so much movement, I feel better. It's almost like I should listen to that more and do that more. But I don't. So any other Cancers feel that way, let me know. Or Cancer risings, moons, suns, anything like that. Then on September 9th, Mercury enters Virgo. So I believe on September 10th or 11th or 12th, Mercury ends the shadow period. So anything that was happening in Mercury retrograde, but Mercury's going technically back into Virgo because it was there and then did the retrograde. Mercury loves being Virgo. It's like the one, it's the, the ruler. I don't know, my hands are doing this. To me, Mercury is like talking with your hands, but there's a lot of organization that can come in, mental clarity, and mindfulness, meditation, all of those things. Don't overthink, don't overwhelm yourself, and don't be self-critical. This is a big message there. So then we have our full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces, which I'm excited for because it's on my nodal axis and I don't know what it will bring. So this full moon is going to be conjunct Neptune. Saturn's going to be on the other side. What else is going on? We have a grand trine of Earth being kited off, the strong oppositions, the Pisces squaring our Jupiter in Gemini, and there's just like a lot again of the mutability in the sky. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There tends to just be like 5 mutable planets at all times with these moons. But eclipses can take things away, they can drop things in. And when it comes with Pisces, there can be a lot of like, is this real? Is this a delusion? Is this a dream? Is this something attainable? And that access, I love the access of Pisces Virgo, because it's like with these daily tasks that I do, I can achieve this. With the physical world things, they connect to the energetic world. So one thing I'll say is like, if you move your body every day and you exercise and you eat good food and you take your supplements, you'll mentally also feel better and energetically feel better if you physically feel good. An example I'll give, another one, is physically, if you have a lot of clutter in your home. I'm dealing with this right now. I'm helping my mom clean out stuff and clean out like the basement and the garage and like drawers and stuff. Clutter holds energy. You get rid of that clutter, you shift the energy of your space. It's a thing, okay? Some other really cool things that I love about the Virgo Pisces axis. What was I gonna say? It just left me. Oh, okay. So it's about the and I have quite a bit of Pisces energy in my chart. I have my moon, I have my south node, and I have 2 planets in the 12th. And a lot of people will come to me. I don't want to rant on this, but a lot of people will come to me and they'll say stuff like, "What is my soul purpose?" Like, tell me my purpose. I don't like the tell me part because it's like, no, I'm not going to tell you. Like I'm not going to tell you what to do and like in that regard. But there's a lot of this like, why am I here type thing. And that's very Piscean, like my soul, what does my soul want to do? But astrology can be what I call your soul's blueprint, and like all these things that your soul wants to experience. And it's kind of laid out in the chart, but you can kind of, it'll manifest in ways like as you're living, right? Even to say the word manifest with Pisces energy. But the thing is it's on this axis, which I love so dearly, about how Virgo is all about like the acts of service, like love language, I like to say. So it's like, how are you serving? How are you helping people? How are you using your like natural callings and gifts to help and to serve? And then through that, you'll find that soul fulfillment and that soul purpose. So what happens is a lot of people, they will go right to the like snap of a fingers, tell me my purpose, tell me what I'm supposed to do. I've had people literally tell me, or like ask me, tell me what I'm supposed to do. And I look at them and I've just met them and I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, what do you want to do? If you don't know, the name of my podcast and the book I wrote is called Don't Tell Me What to Do. And it's to inspire people to tap into that phrase and think like, this is my life. What do I want to do? What's my intuition telling me? I'm not going to listen to the outside noise. So I find it very weird when people are like, tell me what to do. And so I would instead phrase a question and ask you, what are things that you love to do? What are things that, you know, you would do for free? Or what are ways that you like to help people? Through that act of like the tangible doing something, which is the Virgo, the 6th house, like tangibly doing something, tangibly helping, working in some way. It might not feel like work, hence the air quotes, but it you know, that tangible thing of like what you're doing, how is that then doing that soul purpose fulfillment, right? So yeah, that's just the thing, that's like how your acts of service are connected to your soul purpose. Some people even say stuff about Virgo energy being very much about being devoted to something and having that consistency and continuing to always do it no matter what. And then what can that devotion and consistency kind of lead to? Well, it'll manifest it in its way in different things, and kind of knowing that as you do your day-to-day work in like the earthly realm, you're like, there's other things going on you can't see. Maybe there's other realms, you know, people say like spirit guides or angels or like the triple numbers, or you see signs and things like that. It's like acknowledging that those things are around you as you're doing sort of the boring day-to-day human stuff. One thing that I'll say is sometimes when I'm talking or I'm writing something, sometimes I feel like I'm not the one who's talking. Like I don't know where the things are coming from, or like as my hand's writing, I don't even know what I'm gonna write next. It just comes out of me. It can be this like weird experience, but I like know I'm supposed to like say that message and send it out there. And that's where I feel like it taps in with the Pisces energy of the like being a vessel to share and help as well. Like, how can your purpose literally come through you? And it's like a creative form almost. Is that where I was going with that? I'm trying to give different examples of Pisces Virgo to help you understand potentially the energy of this full moon eclipse. And then I will say that during this full moon eclipse, the nodes are still in Aries and Libra. I'm just like stretching my back as I'm doing this. The nodes will still be in Aries, Libra, but then you might say, well, why is the eclipse in Pisces? And this is where I say, I don't question the cycle of the moon and the universe and the flow of things. What will happen is the nodes will officially change into North Node Pisces, South Node Virgo in January. And what I think this eclipse is going to do on September 17th is give us like a little taster of like what's to come with the nodal shift in January. And then we have that energy for a year and a half. But because the flow and the cycle just does what it does, and I feel like we shouldn't question it, we just need to like allow it to flow and kind of observe it. And then people like me who study it, you know, share the messages of, and I say translate and decode what they mean. Next spring, one of the eclipses is in Aries. not Pisces. So it's kind of like they're swapping place, but it's like, why? I always think it's like, okay, this is foreshadowing or like forecasting. And then in the spring, when we have an Aries eclipse, even though the nodes will be in Pisces, Virgo, okay, maybe that's your last chance to clear. Like there's always a reason for something, even if we don't know the reason in the moment. Like there's always a reason. Everything happens for a reason. And that's also another very like Pisces Virgo access thing. Beyond the full moon, going into creative healing arts. Like for me, sometimes what, like dancing, I've danced growing up. Dancing is my favorite thing to do ever. And when I dance, I always say I feel the most like me, because I'm literally in the moment. And then you're just sort of flowing. You're allowing the music to go through you. And again, there's that thing where it's like allowing something to like go through you energetically. Like something, the energy's coming through, like your hand in your writing, through your arm, and it's flowing you, and it's pulling you out, and then it's in, and then it's like a wave. Or as you're talking, maybe it's like the things that are coming out of your mouth. For you, it can just be, I don't know what it is. I'm just saying examples that it is for me, but where are you the most in flow? And then tap into that on the full moon. Go to where you feel most in flow. Maybe that's with sports. Maybe that's with your friends. Maybe that's with the community you're involved in. Maybe that's at work. Maybe it's with your family or your pets. Like go to where you feel the most in flow, especially if the eclipse feels really heavy and really emotional and kind of all over the place, because that's Pisces. Like I have a Pisces moon in my emotions. I don't even know how I'm feeling half of the time because I'm so confused. Like a lot of alone time to recharge and kind of separate like the boundless water of like, this is mine, this is not mine. And when you're by yourself, you can actually distinguish it. But when you're around a lot of people, it's like, oh God, I don't know what I'm feeling, because you're feeling what everyone else is feeling. And it's extremely uncomfortable. I don't wish it on anybody. So then after that eclipse, there's 3 more things I gotta go through here. We have the sun entering Libra, Venus enters Scorpio, and Mercury enters Libra. So Libra season starts the 22nd. It is our fall equinox. Libra is one of our cardinal seasons or signs. So it's kickstarting off a new season. It's a great time to start new things, but then tap into the balancing act of our relationship, of things in our life. I should say relationships, friendships, partnerships, anything, tapping into how balanced you feel. And are there different spaces or places that you feel the need to, I'm going to tap into here, but like assert yourself or speak up because things are not balanced. And I always like to say like each sign is their opposite. So tapping into a little bit of that Aries, if you feel like things aren't balanced, you got to just like speak up and not just nod or go along with things, which is very Libra to keep the peace. But sometimes you don't necessarily need to keep the peace if it's really harming you in the long run, right? That's, I feel like, a very big Libra message. Venus enters Scorpio the first day of Libra season, so it can kind of, it pops into another section of your chart. Venus in Scorpio is one of the most like piercing, intense energies out there, very serious, very loyal. So tapping into things that you feel very passionate about, you feel very fiercely, like almost like an obsession, like you're obsessed with it. But tapping into doing like, you know, deep dive conversations with people and getting to the root cause or getting to the root of things in your life or with your partner, because Venus can be relationships. It could even be like Venus dealing with money, getting to the root cause of potential money issues. Like, are you a spender or like a saver? So like I always go more the spender route. But there are some people who like save. I just think of my brother, and they like don't spend. So then it's like, he says, am I living life? Like, why there's that. What else with Venus? Relationships, even like tapping into self-care, asking yourself why you're not doing as much self-care. What are some things you really want to do? Diving into that. Yeah, that's what I'll say for that. And the last one is Mercury enters Libra. Again, all about balance, mental balance. I always say with Mercury and Libra, there could also be like bringing things into like aesthetically pleasing mode. So like decorating things or thinking more about your style, or like what you maybe like your hair, makeup, like just, I don't know, things that just feel like nice, but you're maybe thinking more about them. You also might want to research topics more, ask more questions, debate. Mercury and Libra, even though Libra is that sort of softer sign, you know, like balancing the scales. They love a good debate because they want to see both sides of the story. So you might find yourself in situations where you're looking at both sides, maybe feeling indecisive about it, but like always knowing there's both sides during this energy. So that's everything that I have for the astrology of September. All of my links will be below for readings, which are always limited. Astrology school, my book, my podcast. I have a lot of different things. I have free things down there too. So yeah, let me know how any of these played out for you in the comments, or let me know your signs and how, if you're excited or scared for eclipse season. There's no reason to be scared, but just like share anything in the comments below, and I will see you next month for the astrology of October.